going strong. Went to the club last night with the top player in the planet named AZD. And you probably follow this account because of AZD. That's the heavily tattooed guy with all the clips and everything. And so I've been on the phones with a lot of the guys on these accounts, and I've compiled a lot of perspectives about what they're going through in life. I was also going through things, and I'm still going through things in life, but 10 years ago when I met AZD, it was the social experience was a big unknown. It was a big question mark to me. I didn't know how to navigate it in a strategic conqueror way to conquer it, to win. Like I was just going trial and error. I was modeling what had been done for me, and I picked some things up from friends or whatever, and it was just like kind of like blindly finding my way and hoping that I found the woman of my dreams and had a great relationship or something like that. Because I was going for that. I wanted that. Don't you want it? And there's a reality of how you see yourself versus the effect you create. Okay, imagine shooting a basketball and you see yourself like whatever you like in life. You skateboard and you see yourself doing like a great trick or uh whatever. You just see the coordination from the inside. You're a fan of fighting. You're like, just hit the guy. Just hit the guy. It's right there. Just hook or uppercut or something. And it's so easy from the outside, but then when you go in and try to do it, you're like, oh fuck. You fall on the skateboard. You can't run a 10-second 100 meter, even though it looks so easy. They make it look so easy. You try to run a mile and you're like passing out after half a mile, thinking because the guy made it look so easy. You try to fight, you get your ass kicked. It's the same thing with game. Why would it be any different with game? It's actually more with game. Guys are much more delusional about their skill with women, the effects they're creating. They're delusional about the effects they're creating. So even upon first questioning, like, how's game? How's it going? It's going good. In what way are you measuring that you're doing well with game? Like, you feel good about it? You feeling all right? Okay, now what results are you getting? Because if I was a salesman, what results are you getting? If I was a wrestler, what results are you getting? I feel pretty good about my wrestling, but I keep losing. Like the only person I beat was the special ed kid down the street. Like you're not doing good that the only girl you got was that special ed girl. You know what I mean? So this why I titled this thing ChatGPT suggested this is a good title. I was like, this is a good title. Why most good men stay weak. Because I think most men are good. They're just harboring their container for a lot of bad thoughts, counter survival thoughts. Hey, what's up, Jack? Jack, if you want to come live, I'm down to talk live with guys if you're on. But I was just going to deliver a message, and then if anybody wants to come live, then we could talk. So it'll be a brief message. I think people in general are good, like most of the time. They have all these wrong ideas that make them communicate wrong. Like that's an idea. You have a way of communicating that make them act in ways that are self-centered and, are a disadvantage to other people. Anytime you're acting or communicating, it's a win-loss, win-loss. Like, do you want the other person to be losing? Are they your enemy? Or are you just putting them down? And are you aware of how you're communicating? Like, so people have wrong ideas, wrong habits, and that's evil. I don't think it comes from them. It's just been passed down and nobody's revisited it. And where it came from, who knows? I mean, animals are not necessarily righteous. They're not necessarily evil either. They're just doing what they do. So who knows where we got our behaviors from? And then, now we're all clever and imaginative and whatever. And we warp our ideas and you become really skewed. You want to see that in reality, just isolate yourself from the game. Don't get out and socialize. Don't have any relationships and just tuck yourself away at home. And pretty soon you're going to be probably already, you're spiraling out in your warped perceptions of things. You fall out of touch. Like sight set, what's up? Guys, come live. Let's talk game. Because the main theme behind the title that I wanted to give was strategies for game, where you live. Not obviously, I live in Las Vegas. We by design, we moved here by choice. The game is strong here. It's the most difficult place, in my opinion, in the world to get the girls that live there. You could go a lot of tourist places, and this is a tourist place, but we don't game tourists, we game locals. So, anyway, you may not even be able to visit here, let alone move here. So, what are you going to do where you're at? It will help me to give you more custom advice for where you're at to talk with you. Like if you could come live, just request to go stream. But if not, then I still have some ideas about it. And I'm starting it with the premise of why most good men will still end up weak, why you're weak right now. And again, it's a delusion. So a lot of good men who are weak would still say, no, I'm not weak. And how do you know you're weak or not until you try to lift a weight? Lift a weight. Okay, so you bench press 600 pounds, but that's not the strength I'm talking about. There's a social strength. Are you breakable by a woman? Are you breakable by betrayal? Are you breakable by people lying to you? Do you get triggered? Do you get emotional? Do you lead a lot of people? Because if you don't lead a lot of people, why not? The world, have you looked around? It's not doing that well. People need models for things and role models and leaders. And it's not that you need sheep or slaves or anything. It's just if you're really doing that well, why aren't people following you? Because people around you aren't doing that well. Or are you delusional about how well they're doing? You could be on Instagram seeing how good everybody's social media is and think that you don't got anything going on. They're lying. They don't have anything going. Most of them, some of them have some cool shit going on for them, and great. Their game still sucks. So, everybody needs it, but few are willing to admit it because they're complacent or content at the level they're at, even though they have desires for more. They put a ceiling on themselves, and they're content just being in their delusion, hoping that some woman will come along and match their desire and fit their model for what they want and everything. And it just doesn't happen. So why most men will remain weak is because there's this gap between how you see yourself shooting the basketball and how it actually looks when you shoot the basketball, how it actually looks when you get in the fight versus just imagining yourself being in a fight and like kick everybody's ass. What guy hasn't imagined himself in like some martial arts film or some and he's kicking ass and he does all the right moves and deflects the bullet and like the reality is you probably suck at fighting unless you're a fighter. The reality is you probably suck with women unless you're a legit player, meaning you have a track record, not just in your head. And here, we don't have the delusion of what your lay count is. That's stupid. I could find a chimpanzee with a bigger lay count than you. Does that mean he's a better player? So, what this is yes, getting girls, but can you get them to want to be loyal to you and want to be in a relationship with you? And can you do the multiple relationship? There's a lot of guys who say it's not for them, but they're actually not capable of it. That's like saying, I don't want to shoot a basketball, but they're missing arms or something. And it's like they really, really, really want to shoot basketball. Or it's like, I don't even want to drive that Lamborghini when someone's handing them the keys. I don't even want to because why? You don't feel worthy? Why would you not want multiple women loving you, giving you everything, and totally okay with what's going on, growing and evolving with you? Like you probably have the guys who say that have some ideas about what that is. It's too much effort or whatever. No, it's too much effort for you. Like for you to lift 100 pounds is so much effort. For me, I lift 10,000 pounds. That 100 pound, I toss it around. Is a difference in game level. AZD comes in and it's like a trillion-pound weight. It's like a neutron star. He just moves it around, whatever. And that's the reality of it, but that's the metaphor to help you understand because how would you know you met a man who was 1,000 years evolved in social dynamics? So far in the future, understanding human nature and he's been studying it for so long and been in so many relationships and had access and exposure to so many great teachers in particular. Who knows why he was guided to those teachers or those teachers guided to him? We can say that about everybody, but who made the most of it, became the best student, put it all together, and is revealing the nature of human social dynamics to the common person now on Earth. The top player on Earth, hear it from me, AZD. I haven't seen anybody even close. And I see like you, the hyper rich, hyper successful, handsome celebrity type guy who has yacht parties, and I don't see the game. Who am I to judge? I'm not there. But what I see in the video is much more superficial, and I don't see any intimacy, any real relationships. And I've looked into it a little bit. So I can say that about those guys, and that's what, but everybody else that I've seen a top player in person, most of them, it doesn't even compare. Like, man, it's not even like Michael Jordan versus like Scottie Pippen. It's like Michael Jordan versus like a high school freshman or something. And everybody else has never even picked up a basketball. A high school freshman who's been playing ball for like 5, 10 years will just dribble circles around anybody who hasn't played ball. But compared to Michael Jordan, it's just not even, and that's literally guys who haven't studied game. There's very, very few naturals. Everybody is natural to the level that they're natural. You're naturally at whatever level of game you're naturally at right now. That doesn't fit you in the category of what we would call a natural, someone who's naturally a player. And it's in everyone's nature, but they still had to have role models. They didn't just figure it out from scratch. No man who's a player successfully invented the wheel himself. He learned from somewhere, whether his dad was a player or his uncle or, some mentor somewhere. But they're so rare And you are also under the delusion that they're so plentiful and that it's so easy. So when you step up to shoot the basketball or do the fight, you realize that you're miscoordinated, that your outer manifestation of what you imagine yourself capable of doing is not actually aligning. And that's how it is with game. And so guys stay weak because they don't actually get in the game. That they have, you and myself have a lot of unconscious habits of communication and responses that are unattractive to women. So you diminish women's attraction probably from the get-go, just how you groom yourself and how you carry yourself and how you operate. But when they get into dialogue with you, even if they liked your look, let's say you work on your body a lot and you have a good body, and so the girl sees you as high value because that's some perception that she could have. And then as she talks to you, drops in value, drops in value, drops in value. And you don't have much of a reference because what player is around you to show you that when they talk to that same exact girl, raising value, raising value, raising value. When your mindset, your communication is actually much more valuable than your car, your tattoos, your bling, your clothing, how people are even treating you. That could all be super high value, but what if having all that, your communication drops your value versus having all that and a girl communicating with you, more attraction, more just from the communication. Pretty soon she forgets what car you drive. She doesn't see what other people may see. You have a nice watch on, and she's not even seeing your watch anymore. She's attracted to your character. Harder to do or harder to learn when you have all that other shit going on because, man, women are much more clever than you think, more clever than they even think because they're not conscious of it. You don't know what they're interested in. So their interest is just registered as interest. So the rich guy gets interest from the girl, but she's not interested in his character. What is she interested in? And he may admit it or think it and say it out loud or whatever. But by and large, most rich guys will still be so heartbroken when she cheats on them or leaves them. But bro, you knew she was just interested in your money. What did you at some point start believing she was interested in your character? Like at what point? If she wasn't interested on the first date or the second date, when did you think she got interested in your character? No. What happened is she got more and more disinterested in your character, where the money didn't even it didn't even pay it off. Dancer's telling me about a billionaire that wants to marry her or whatever. How pathetic the guy must be that she won't take the offer and now has a bunch of stalkers or whatever after her. Like, that's what you get for going over to a billionaire's house. He's a pervert, dude. What billionaire is paying for dancers like that? Can't you get a girl? You like, we may get dancers and we also tip or whatever. And if I had more money, I would tip more. But how far would I go? Because I have something called game where I can make the girl fall for my character. Guys are under the delusion that she likes you for you. She doesn't. She's putting up with you. Paused due to poor connection. That sucks. Okay, we're back. Bad connection. Okay, guys, come live. It'll improve my connection. You guys that are online right now. So I wanted to give you some strategies, right? Why do good men stay weak? It's because they don't get in the field. They don't go out with a Queen Deborah. A lot of people have no character. They're not genuine. Yeah, and that's the thing. So in our own head, in our own space, we all think we're right. Do you know anyone who really in their own space? Ashton, what's up, bro? Man, I see you on the newsletter all the time. Why don't you come live if you're on? Be good to meet. So everybody thinks they're right. This is like a big realization for me years ago that like, or a big truth or whatever that I had, that I learned. And it made sense. Everybody thinks they're right. So in everybody's own space, they think they're genuine. And everybody's so in their own head that even when they communicate with other people and other people don't buy their shit, they still think they're being genuine. They can't read the signals that the other person doesn't believe what they're saying. Not really. They're just going along with an autopilot, superficial conversation. The other person is actually thinking the same thing. They think they're so genuine. The game is very humbling like that. And girls will still put up with your insincerity and your lack of, genuineness or whatever until a second girl enters the picture. That's one of the reasons why I tell guys you don't even have a girl until you have a second girl. You don't even know if she's your girl until you have a second girl. That's when you'll know how much she's been putting up with your bullshit because when a second girl enters the picture, she'll tell you about how you're bullshit. And you'll face that. And to levels. When the girls meet each other, they'll see that you've been bullshitting them and not the other. It's just levels though. You got to get two girls attracted enough to you, knowing that you have another girl, and then finally bring them together. And it's just levels upon levels of sincerity comes out because we're just delusional. We have wrong ideas. And because we don't get the results that we want, like guys, they think they're all great and they go out and they don't get the results that they want. And so they convince themselves everybody else is wrong and that they're right because everybody wants to be right and it hurts to feel wrong. And they stay weak because they don't change their habits. It's not more like just look at AZD. You could think he's attractive. He's made himself attractive in different ways, but on paper, he's not an attractive guy. Not his height, not his cauliflower ears, not his fucking broken nose, all his tattoos. I mean, you hear it in the haters. The haters would be like, looks like a dirty newspaper or something. Like when you look at it and you hear him, then it makes sense, and then it's a lot of beauty. The tattoos are beautiful in relation to the story of who he is. By itself, they could be aesthetic, depends if you like tattoos or not. But he's not an attractive guy, just like on paper. But man, he's doing something that's very attractive by evidence of the women. So many girlfriends, loyal, know about each other, plus a line out the door, and continually attracting new women. We just went out with him last night. We'll go out with him this night, tonight. And it's just, I don't know, maybe you don't believe it or whatever. So it's just what it is. Like it's hacking the social dynamics. And so why most men stay weak is because they don't go out and get the feedback and they're in their own delusion. So they don't have a team also of scientists, social scientists. So there's no one else that can call you on your bullshit, that can reflect to you what was happening behind your back when you weren't looking, or, what they were noticing in the girl or you or whatever in the interaction. So you don't have an external observation of what's going on. You're in your own head and your own eyes doing it. And in your own mind, really, your mind is in between you and reality. Your mind is perceiving reality and you're perceiving your own mind about reality. And so until another person comes along and has a different perspective that can, tune your perception a little bit, you may not agree with their perspective, but if you get a bunch of people and you respect them, they're high value to you, they're loyal guys, loyal girls, whatever, then you may want to listen to their perspective. And when they have different points of view than you and a bunch of them agree and they all disagree with you, you might have to reconsider your paradigm. And that's when you'll see how delusional you are. And here in Vegas, we get that a lot, just day after day in class. We see how delusional we are when we mastermind about this stuff. And so we become more and more sincere and authentic, which is really, that's the heroic quality to a woman. All the other things, when you become sincere and authentic, I mean in all moments. So even when you're afraid or when you're intimidated or this or that, and your ability to be authentic, she doesn't have. She doesn't have that ability to confront because it's dangerous, man. It's dangerous. Reputation is much more important to a girl than a guy, genetically, let alone physical damage that can come when you're just honest, when you're honest about shit. And then that on top of the fact that she's much more emotional, she goes through menstruation, she gets attacked by a lot more emotions than you do. And so the way she expresses herself, has anybody ever had a tummy ache and tried to be authentic? It might come out resentful or bitter or something because you got a cramp. Or you got to go to the bathroom or something. Like imagine a girl on her period. So she fucking shits all over her communication at least once a month for a few days. It's dangerous. So you learn to be indirect and covert and acceptable, politically correct. The girl, the female is politically correct. The man is a conqueror, and that's not politically correct. Now, most men are not conquerors, but that's the male essence in its ideal, or one perspective of its ideal. So you got to get out in the world. And now here comes the strategies. And guys, you should come live. If you're just watching this, I mean, you should really dialogue with me because I can help you. So, and just so you know, I'm the guy that lived with AZD for 4.5 years. And there's been other guys, but they haven't been able to stick around. It takes a lot to be next to the sun. You got to have a pretty resilient armor suit, some high technology. And that's what AZD is. Man, a lot of guys have come and gone and been burned by getting too close too fast and not being able to handle the intensity of beautiful women, multiple relationships, the level of confront, the ability for AZD to confront a static situation. And, so guys, they blow off. They blow away. So I'm the last remaining guy of the guys that lived with him for 4.5 years and lived with him for 4.5 years. Why was I saying that? Oh, just so you know who I am. So when I say I can help you, I'm a reflection of those teachings. I've been around for a long time. I've studied a lot. And there's a big gap between Michael Jordan and a freshman basketball player, but there's also a huge gap between a freshman basketball player and everybody who doesn't really play basketball. You've watched it sometimes, maybe you haven't. That's the guy who, like, on YouTube or TikTok or whatever, he's seen some videos about game. That's like the guy who's seen some basketball on TV and thinks he can play ball. Everybody can bounce a ball. That's like everybody can say hi to a girl. But then what do? Can you dribble? Can you shoot? Can you score consistently against a good opponent? Like, that's the thing. She's in the game whether she wants to or not. If she has any attractiveness to her at all, genetically, at all, then guys approach her throughout her life. And Spider's deep. I like it. Hell yeah. Spider's AZD, everybody. Spider's gang name inside IMC Nation Spider. So she is in the game. She's been playing basketball since she developed tits, and probably before. Guys approached her. She's in the game. You're not being approached. So she's getting better and better at basketball. As a rookie, she's not taking it professional except for the fucking dancers and hired guns. They take it professional. That's why we are gaming professional ball players. I'm a professional ball player. I'm a player. But that's the ecosystem we're in. It's by design. Move your ass to Vegas or visit Vegas. But if you're not, then let me tell you, here's what you got to do. You got to get out of the house. You got to put yourself in environments, and you got to stop making it such a big jump for yourself. I'm not telling you to go to a nightclub with nobody around you, never having been out or drinking alcohol before. I'm telling you, take a walk around the block. Once you get comfortable doing that, take a walk to the park. Once you get comfortable with that, walk around the park. Once you get comfortable with that, go to a busy park and walk around. Comfortable with that. That means do it multiple times. Then, I don't know, go to a farmer's market or an outdoor fair or an art festival. Easy. Walk around until you're comfortable. Eventually, you're going to talk to some people, but just walk around a lot. Just walk. Walk through a busy street. Just walk. Walk the street in the middle of the day. Start getting comfortable around people. Pretty soon you're going to step into a coffee shop. Pretty soon you're going to step into a tea bar, a hookah lounge. You're going to step in. Okay, now go to the mall. Don't try to game anybody. Just be comfortable being around people. Go in and out of stores. Interact. Be a person of society and just get more and more comfortable around more and more people. That's the best thing you could do to start. At some point when you're ready to tackle social venues where people gather for no other reason, you'll come across it as you're walking around. You'll come across gatherings, little parties, little outdoor, like a concert or something. You'll be around social gatherings and you'll ease into very easy social gatherings. Just get more and more comfortable. Meet everybody. And don't get attached to anybody, whether they're hot or they're trash. Some people, a homeless guy will take your attention and talk to you for like 20 minutes if you let him. Like, you got to be able to let go of everybody, and then you're going to deal with all the demons inside of you of attachment and lust and clingy. And like, that's why you're weak, is because if you don't handle those, they're still there. You have to go through the bag. You can't just climb, imagine yourself out of a paper bag. You got to tear your way through it. The only way to actually get good at game and get the girl of your dreams and succeed in that, because she's still playing ball, she's just going to fuck you in the ass. If you get any girl and you cling to her for any amount of years, she's just going to rape you, dude. She's going to take your mind, take your money, take your goodwill, take your energy, and leave you worse. Or stay with you and you're worse and use you as a lapdog and ultimately cheat on you unless she's just so nasty she can't even get another guy. And that's just pathetic. And that's just what it is. You're not in the game if you're not learning game and practicing game. And you got to see it seriously because it's your life, bro. How much money are you going to make? You want to have kids? What's your empire or legacy going to be? All that's a liability when you get in a relationship. And you just got to look around and see the facts of that with everybody that's in a relationship or was in a relationship. Mom and dad, everybody. They get weaker. What are you going to sacrifice your life for? For that? You're going to conquer the game, gentlemen. All right. Why most good guys stay weak is they don't beat the game. They don't go for it. They don't try to win the game. They think it's going to be handed to them. They're liberal. You're entitled. You're not entitled to a woman, bro. Not at all. 98% of the women will go to 2% of the men. And you may hook up with them. They may even be your wives or girlfriends, but they're still going to hook up with the seducer alpha male that's not attached to them and has plenty of other women. And he doesn't even want your girl. That'll happen eventually. because you wanted to be complacent and go for other goals or whatever, but not really. You're playing golf, watching football, drinking beer with the guys, not doing shit, thinking that that's friendship is more important. Man, if it is, then deal with the heartbreak of what's going to happen in your relationship because you valued all that other bullshit, being friends with weaklings who didn't value game also. That's what I had to do. I had to value game over my social circles, which I did. I transcended one, and I transcended another. And then I've transcended many people in IMC Nation that couldn't last. And now I'm here, captain of IMC Nation, at the center of the movement. And you could be too. You just got to value the game. And to start, there's a free newsletter, 100 pieces of content just from AZD. It's just for guys, so don't even try to join it. If you're a girl, I'll kick you off. And the link is in the bio, so just sign up for that. And you get an email with the content right there. You just study it, learn it. It's free, it's easy. And then beyond that, just be in touch. We do these streams. I announce it on Telegram. There's products on the website, the same website you get the newsletter from. There's things there. See what AZD, what he's put out that I've codified. Not everything he's done a lot. He keeps teaching new for like 16 years. He's been teaching game. He's had 2 or more girlfriends for 16 years. He has like 7 or 8 right now. And he's had up to 13 when I was living with him. He had up to 17 before that. But it's not a numbers thing because you got to measure the quality of the relationship, the quality of the women. And so quality over quantity, but then also quantity too. And that's where I'm saying he's at the top of the pyramid. The apex game is AZD's game. So IMC Nation is his movement that he founded, and the people that follow the teachings of what it is and make it your own. I'm not the same as him, but I can learn from the same physics that he's working with because it's just nature. He's using nature. He is slingshotting a spacecraft around the moon using gravity, where someone else crashes into the moon with the same gravity. Just knowing the physics and how to target and how to be precise, you can use nature to your advantage in the game. Everybody's getting beaten up by the nature of the humans. All right? So imcbase1.com, that's the website, in the bio, description, everywhere, all over the place, imcbase1.com. Stay tapped in, stay in touch, get involved, be the best, fuck the rest. IMC Nation.